Welcome to the Your Peak Life podcast. Let's conquer the summit of life and reach the apex of our potential.
Welcome back to another episode of Your Peak Life podcast. Today we have a phenomenal guest, one of the top podcasters on the planet. Just a great guy that I met via Eric Thomas at an event one day. He goes by the name of Shawn French, based out of Florida, and he's coming to town soon. Tell us about yourself, Shawn.
What's up, man? Good to be here. Good to see your face. Man, a little bit about me. I grew up in California, played baseball my whole life, dude. And I'm going to give you the Reader Digest version, but played baseball my whole life, and it led me to Louisiana State University, where I was lucky enough to wear an LSU baseball uniform. And it was one of the greatest and most humbling and depressing blessings of my life, to be quite honest with you. It's when I really learned what failure and adversity was, man. And what I learned early on is I didn't know how to deal with it. I dealt with it poorly and, started being a victim. But as I grew, I got through it, and, we made the College World Series. And shortly after that, my career was over, and I ended up in the land of sales, from mortgages to, my gosh, furniture to everything, and to payroll, and then the medical device. And then I just found myself, man, there was something digging deep inside of me, just burning desire to do more. And I couldn't really figure out what it was, man. I didn't know what my purpose or calling was. I was like, okay, there's got to be more than just selling things and being in an operating room and making money. I just don't feel like I'm making the impact that I want. And started getting in better shape. And then all of a sudden it kind of hit me, well, I'll start a Facebook group and, start this personal brand that was suggested to me. And I'm like, what the hell is a personal brand? Like, no one gives a crap what I have to say. Right. And I was like, I'm not good at that shit. So I just kind of, did some digging, and, I named the group the Determined Society. And I just wanted to wake up in a world in a society that was determined to go chase their dreams. And no matter what happens, right? No matter how they felt, what their emotions were. And that's where we are. That's how I built this brand, built this podcast as it spun into one. And it was humbling beginnings, man. Nobody listening. And, my wife would just say, hey, be patient. It's going to happen. You are you. And it's going to be. And we live here in Florida. I got 3 beautiful children and an absolutely amazing and supportive wife. And dude, here we are, man.
Awesome, man. Phenomenal. So what I would like to tell the viewers, or anybody that's listening, maybe you could talk about how you and I met, and just kind of how that connection has gone on since that day, 6 months ago now, right?
Dude, yeah, close to it. Was July, right?
Yeah, July, about 5 months. So
good Lord, I feel like I've known you for 2 years.
On that journey.
So that's actually really interesting, and it's a really cool story. So I'm really good friends with Eric Thomas's, right-hand man, Brandon Burns. That's my boy. And for the longest time, I was like, yo, dude, I got to get ET on my show. I want to meet him. I got to get him.
Yeah.
And, he humbled me, and he's like, you're not ready. You don't have the analytics, and you don't have the reviews yet. And, I took it, and that was my assignment. Like that, I took that personally, right? And not in a bad way. I've never lost any love for Brandon Burns. It's my homie. And we've gotten closer and closer as the months go on and the years go on. But I just noticed me being more intentional in what I was putting out there, and put some good people around me. And then the show started climbing in the Apple rankings. And so one day I sent him this message. I said, hey, here we are 18 in entrepreneurship on Apple. Am I ready yet? And he goes, call me in 10. And so we ended up setting up a virtual show with ET about a week later. From the time that conversation happened to the time I was looking at Eric face to face on a Zoom or a virtual podcast, it was about a week. Me and Eric hit it off, and, they invited me to, the event, the Glover U thing. And that's where we met, because I was there to meet up with him and kick it with him. And, and then you guys strolled down to the lobby. I said, I think I'm supposed to know these dudes. So I opened my mouth. I'm like, hey, are we supposed to meet? And, that's the rest is history, man.
Yeah. I was kind of like, I think you're here for the same thing I'm here for. And it actually was, I didn't get him on a podcast, but I was doing a book launch, and my partner's from Detroit, went to elementary school with somebody that knows ET personally. and we booked a webinar. We did a virtual
Hmm.
event. I turned it into a book launch and a watch party, and Tim negotiated a meet and greet, and then that's where we met you. And ET rolled up calling you on the phone, and I was like, who's this guy?" So, and then we just sat there and what? We chopped it up for about an hour. We all hung out
Yeah.
backstage, and then yeah, like you said, the rest is history. Here we are. We contacted me. We had an opportunity. We put it together, and now
Mhm.
we have this event we're doing together next month, which really leads me into my next question: is what you're a guy with much opportunity, many things available to you at this point, right? As far as like
Yeah.
things you could do. Why'd you choose to do Determine Your Destiny with me? Why'd you choose to come do this road show in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Hampton Roads area? If you want to talk about that for a little bit, I just kind of want to give a
Yeah.
little idea.
And I'm going to be real about it too, because I want your listeners to really understand truth, right? Along a lot of times we go through this life and we want people to see us, right? Because a lot of people just don't see us for who we are, what our value is. And I really felt seen by you and Tim. I really felt seen by you guys. So I just felt like it was great to start a relationship with you guys. You guys started tagging me on some social things. I'm like, I really like these dudes, man. And let's see what we can do together. And for me, it was an easy play because you started from the bottom. You have humble beginnings, man. You've worked your way through the shit. You could have given up, right? Your trench looks different than my trench, but we both had to dig ourselves out of that damn thing. And so I like to align myself with people and human beings that one, if I'm stuck in an elevator with them, will I want to kill them or will I want to hang out with them? Well, you're the latter. I'd want to hang out with you. So,
Appreciate
there's that.
that.
And then,
And we're getting out of that damn elevator.
yeah, if we're getting out of that elevator, you have military experience. I'm not worried, right? But like for me, it's just, outside of that, man, because friendships are cool. But when we're building businesses, we're building personal brands and things like that, we have to go around with people that have alignment and you give a shit about the community. You love mental health, right? That's a big advocacy that you have. And that's for me too. And so it just made sense, man. And I think that we're all these up and coming dudes, right? That, in the next 10 years, you're looking at household names. And
Perfect.
that's how it starts, right? And so for me, it was easy, man. It was
Awesome.
easy. And I've never been to Virginia Beach. So
Well, hopefully you enjoy it. I know it's not going to be the same weather you're used to down there in Florida, but
yeah, I'm
I
not
think
excited about that, man.
I hope to pack that gym wall to wall and just inspire some people that day. But speaking of the event, January 18th, without giving too much away, um, what do you plan on delivering to the people, and why is it important for them to attend that day?
Well, I think it's important for them to intend, and what I'm going to give them is a massive dose of reality of what it's going to take to get where they want to go. Right? There's no spoiler alerts. Everybody knows the answer, but the problem is they listen to a lot of people and they're looking for the cheat code. We're going to be real on that day. We're going to be excited. We're going to be real. I'm going to give it to them straight. I'm going to give them, some logical things that have happened to me in the last year. I mean, what people don't realize is they're one person away.
For sure.
And too many people are focused on what they need instead of who they need, you know?
Absolutely.
And to me, like so many who's were brought in that room in one day.
For sure.
I mean, shit.
Yeah, no doubt. I can attest to that for sure.
So for me, it's about, hey, here's my story. Here's where I'm at. Here's how I got here. Here are the systems and the processes that I put in place. Now, what does yours look like? Right. Because I think it's important to give tangible things, not like manifest it. All that stuff is great, but let's be honest, people need to leave there with some tangible stuff. So
Absolutely.
we're going to get them. I hate using this word, dude. I hate it. The M word. We're going to motivate them. But I think what we're, what, because I don't believe in it. All right. Because I'm motivated probably 2 to 3 days out of the freaking month to do something. Right. What I want to give them is the ability to truly dive deep down and just for them to know that however they're feeling, their emotions, that their mind is stronger than how they feel. And if they just move an inch, then they can move 3 inches, then they can move six, and they can move a foot. Next thing you know, they have this massive momentum and they're knocking shit down. That's what we're going to go over.
But with that, you're also going to come. We have a whole roadshow set up here, and I'm really thankful for the
Yeah.
opportunity for that, man, because it's not just about the event. We have a charity workout the night before at the gym. You're going to come in and address our sales team here at my real estate firm, and you're going to be highlighting a lot of important people in my life and local businesses. And we're also giving these people resources at this
Hmm.
event, right? Like it's not
Yep.
just a bunch of guys up there talking. Like, no, there's going to be VA benefit specialists, there's going to be athletes, nutritionists, tax specialists, all kinds of people here. And what I want people to take away from it is the action that we're talking about, but also here's the resources and tools to use, right?
Mm.
And I mean, I don't think we could get it down to a more fair price. 97 bucks
Dude,
for a general admission ticket is
bro, when you sent that manifesto of the event, I'm like, this dude's crazy.
it's legit, right?
Straight up, dog. I was like, wait a second. Am I reading this right?
Yeah,
So
it's
no,
a
there's
whole
not a
ordeal.
more affordable $97 to like the most expensive ticket is what, 297?
Yeah, and that's to, have a private lunch with yourself, me, Coach Michael Bird, several
Yeah.
others, Travis Wallace. I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking about top podcast hosts on earth,
Janae.
collegiate athlete, yeah, Janae, a veteran advocate, strong female leader in
Mhm.
the speaker author world. I mean, the lineup is just it's all star.
Yeah.
It's world class. I know it's going to be phenomenal, and I thank you for believing in me. And I guess I would ask, what's it look like for you just watching Tim and I kind of put all this together, man? Like, hey, we're going all the way.
Dude, you guys, like, it was funny because, we were talking about doing something together. And I'm like, wait a second. Hey, we have a lot of ideas. For started with you just coming on my show. I was like, I think it's bigger than that. I'm like, why don't you guys put together something, and get it back to me like in 48 hours of kind of like what this dream scenario of this event or doing some really cool stuff is. And you guys came back with it. I'm like, that's vision. That's vision. And so the one thing that I've noticed, man, there's a lot of people in this world that talk about shit.
Yeah, for sure.
They talk. They talk. You and Tim follow through.
I appreciate that.
That's what it's like watching you guys put this event together. It's called follow through, dude.
Awesome. I
And
love it, bro.
I appreciate you believing in me to start this thing. We started with me. I was the seed, and then we grew to Travis Wallace, Daniel Gomez, Michael Burt, Janae. And now we
Yeah,
have this big event. And it's like, wow, this is bigger than just what we were going to do before, which was just a road show and me talking to your salespeople. Like this
yeah,
is going to be a massive, it's going to be those things still, right? But it's just so much more. So the
it
amount of
really is.
value that the community is going to get and have the tools to execute that, like you said, with all the VA benefit advisors there, the tax specialty, like everything, like everybody's going to be there to give these people the tools to move forward after the event. It's big.
Absolutely. And that's the idea, right? We're going into a new year. We all know, and especially yourself being an athlete and being involved with raw nutrition, and we have, NBA performance athlete coaches coming in and stuff like that. We
Wild.
know that everybody makes New Year's resolutions, and by January 15th, they're dead.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
snuck this right in there on the 18th to make sure that we get them reignited and give them the tools, you know, uh, and to really just start the year on the right foot so they can win big in 2025.
It's
Um,
big, man. It's big because, like you said, man, New Year's resolutions, they never last, dude. Like, we're too busy making goals instead of creating journeys, dog. Like, create a journey, create a fucking journey. It's like when you get to that point, like that's the journey I want. I want to be, whatever it is, 15% body fat. Cool, great. You got there. Make another journey. It doesn't have to be about that, but it can be about something different. But too many people are locked in on this end game. It doesn't end. It does not end. It keeps going and going and going and going. And the moment you think you're done, that's when you become sedentary and you get depressed, you get fat, you get depressed. Like all these different things. You lose
yeah,
sight of
for
it
sure.
because you think there's a finish line. So,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I love it.
I'm
And
ready, dude. I'm ready to get up there, dog.
the other piece too is I think that just the thought process aligned. Obviously, you look at the Determined Society, which is your brand,
Hmm.
and then you look at mine, which is broken from the bottom and tenacity, right? And be
Hmm.
tenacious. And you mix that with military and athletics, and it just all really goes together. So the name of the event that I came up with, Determine Your Destiny, I took a little bit of my belief and your title and put it together, right? Because I really think that we determine our own destiny. I think we have a choice
Mm.
every day when we wake up to either go get it or not, or chase your dream or sleep with it, right? So,
Yeah. Ooh,
um,
shit. That's good.
yeah, we had to give them a little teaser, we'll
That
really
was
light it
good.
up on the 18th,
Yeah.
man. But
Wow. Very nice.
everything is very intentionally congruent, and I think the people that we brought in, a female, people from different parts of the country, people from the South, people from the East Coast, people from the Midwest, people from all over, all walks of life. You've been an athlete. Bert's been a championship basketball coach. Travis has trained Olympians. I mean, it's insane. Janae putting, what was it? I think it's like 5 million people in beds, homeless heroes or something like that, something insane.
That's
So
crazy.
everybody is really just doing their part to help other people, and that's really what the event is about. And I know you're going to play a huge part in that.
Yeah, man.
But before we hop off here today, which we'll see how long this next couple questions go, we always ask people, because this is the Your Peak Life podcast on my side, and my question to you, Shawn, is what does your peak life look like to you?
That's a good question, man. I think my peak life, business wise, is being the biggest podcast on the planet, following in the footsteps of Joe Rogan, and
You're
one
on your
day
way,
being
man.
that guy. You know,
You're
one
on your
day
way.
being that next Joe Rogan. That's the goal, right?
Yep.
I think so. Business wise, it's that. Okay. And
Okay.
inspiring people and helping them understand that they are in charge of their own destiny, just like you're talking about. No matter if they think that they're not, like, oh, I've had this happen, I've had that happen. I just, I had hopped off a podcast. I actually published it 2 weeks ago. My friend Cheryl Hunter, that was actually kidnapped in Paris, France, and left for dead in the field at her night for 19. It was a sex trafficking handoff gone bad. Like she could use that. She could use that to be the worst person in America, but she's used it and she's embraced it. And now she's helping people all over get their story out. So, we all have our issues, right? We determine our own destiny. So, business wise, yeah, it's that. But I think personally, man, and bringing that all together, which will drive the business and drive that growth, is taking care of what I need to at home, right? Being the best me possible, getting in the best shape I can, which I'm in the middle of just grinding it out, dude, just completely reinventing myself. You know, being patient with my family, making their meals with joy, saying I get to do all this, and being that calm, stoic father that the kids go, that's my safe place. My wife go, that's my safe place. And then I have this massive brand. That's peak life to me. Because when I can do that, I can be able to like, hey, let's go do XYZ on a whim. Like, let's go to the Bahamas today. Let's go do this. That's my peak life. I want more, I guess, more production out of my brand, meaning revenue, so I have more time for my family. That to me is my peak life.
We have the goal, both personally and professionally. Where is Shawn French and his team? Because obviously your brand takes a team, right? Just like
Mhm.
anybody else
Oh,
that's
of course.
successful. Where are you guys in 5 years? Where do you see you and your team in 5 years?
Dude, I do see us as number one in entrepreneurship. I really do, man. I see us as number one in entrepreneurship. I see us building a massive there's a big move coming soon, and I can't talk about it yet, but I think it's really going to turn into this massive revenue generating machine, and it's going to happen when I'm sleeping. And I just see us, dude, I just see us as the go-to people to go into the NFL rooms, the college rooms, and speak to these athletes and give them the education, and talk about discipline. That we're building that team, man. We're building all of that. And so I just see us as a bunch of light spreaders, man. And it's going to be in 5 years that everybody's going to turn around and be like, wow, this just happened overnight.
Yeah, doesn't all overnight success happen overnight?
Oh my God. Yeah, it usually takes a decade though.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I tell people. They're like, "Oh, your company's killing it. You guys have only been open 4, not even 5 years." I'm like, yeah, but I've been laying the groundwork since a decade before that.
Exactly.
That's the piece that people
Exactly.
don't see.
Was that a decent answer to that question though? I just
It
feel like,
was, but I was going to go one level deeper with
go
it.
ahead.
Um, you know, what does that really mean to Shawn? You know, the guy that felt the weight of the world on his shoulders when he walked away from collegiate athletics and was finding his new path to now you see yourself as the number one podcaster on the planet in 5 years. Like, what does that
No doubt.
mean to you?
Yeah. It means everything to me, man, because I've pissed away my potential before.
Mm,
And if anybody listening knows what that feels like, it's
it's heavy.
yeah, it's I can't even speak on it right now, right? When I was in Louisiana, like I told you, I took the victim route. Coach
Yeah,
hates me, this, that, oh, I'm injured, this happened, and I destroyed an amazing post-college career. I destroyed my career at LSU before it even began because I walked into that locker room and I had comparison syndrome. I'm looking at these 6'4", 230 pound dudes shredded down to their bones, dropping 500-foot bombs. I'm like, I can't do that.
right.
Right. So I started getting into a place of lack and, being defensive instead of offensive. So, the answer to the question is like, I pissed away one. I pissed away one. I don't think we get to piss away two. So for me, it means everything to come out and be that freaking guy that I know I am, that I know I can be to the world. I'm not going to miss twice.
Love it. And it's so everything happens for a reason, right? So when you look back, you know, you see your wife and your kids now, you see the success of your brand now. Do you feel like you had to go through all of that to get
Yeah.
where you are right now?
Dude, it's funny because like while I sit there and I say like I pissed it away, I gained the world, man.
Right.
I have the three most beautiful children, dude, and they're funny and they're smart and they're loving. I have this amazing wife. Like, I don't know what my wife or my life would look like had I, been that stud at LSU. I don't know. Maybe I ended up on drugs. I don't know. I don't know what God was saving me from, right?
Right.
And I'm surely not here to judge it. I'm here to use it though, right?
Yeah.
So for me, going through all those moments of pain and sometimes even still looking back and like, man, that really hurt. But now I can look at what I have now and what I'm building. It's like it was all freaking worth it. I would do it again.
Yeah. And
100%.
your family gets to witness it, right? Like your
Yeah.
family's right there with you this whole time. Um,
I got to tell you this, dude. This is so funny. This is funny because it's you start to see it wear onto the kids. Like
yeah.
my littlest one in particular, Mia. Sometimes she'll start walking around with her phone, like, "Hi, this is Mia's podcast." Da 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 da. And she's like, it's a fake phone. She doesn't have a real phone. She's 5, but like, she'll start emulating. Right? She starts to dream, and all my kids are in theater now because they want to be in front of a camera.
Yeah.
It's wild. But the funniest thing is my buddy Crash Minotti created my theme song. And at the beginning, he goes, Shawn French, what up? And so when my family comes into the house, a lot of times I go, Shawn French, what up? Like everybody does it now. And it's funny. It's funny, but like them getting to witness that, like,
Yeah.
dude, I look at them like, okay, yeah, you're just busting my balls. But it's really cool to have a song with your name in it that a hip hop artist that used to tour with Jelly Roll
Yeah.
literally laid down for you.
Yeah.
And now my kids hear it and then they start it's wild experience, man.
You're like, I really have an inside family joke from a legit song from an artist.
Yeah, it's like what like, it's nuts. And sometimes when I call Pat, he'll answer, Shawn French, what up? I mean, it's cool. It's cool, man. I don't
Yeah.
know. And sometimes it's like I go like I'm not worthy of this yet, man. This is cool.
Yeah,
But
that's something I struggled with early when people started like, oh, it's the broker from the bottom. I'm like, yo, my name's Mike. You know,
mhm,
I get up and go to work every day just like y'all. Uh, it's a cool tagline, but it actually has meaning to me, you
mhm,
know.
mhm.
So we'll explore some more of that when we're doing the road show
Oh
and
yeah,
performing
dude.
together. But the last question I have for you, well, no, there's one more after this, but this question is I sit here and ask people questions all the time on this podcast, just like you do on yours. So at the end of each interview, I always give whoever's on the show an opportunity to ask me any question that you might have, um, that maybe can set us up for later, or maybe just
Ooh, that's
a
good.
curiosity that you might have. You know?
That's good. I would say my big question for you, and I think it's going to benefit the audience because, like I said, I see you as somebody that follows through. How have you implemented follow through in your life and how have you done it? Because I just see like no matter what we are talking about, you're like, I'm gonna get it done. Like, like it's almost like your mantra. It's going to get done. I'm gonna make it happen. Right. And and Mike, and I think it's just a part of who you are. And I don't know if you see it on a day-to-day basis enough. And I don't know if people like really glorify you enough for it, but I'm here to do that right now because it is a special freaking trait. And I want you to tell the audience how you've manifested that or created that in your life.
So honestly, man, we got to go all the way back.
Mm,
My father left my mother when I was 6 weeks old in a NICU. I was born addicted to crack cocaine. Uh, he would leave her, and then she got remarried to a man that would beat her, my sister, and me. So we ended up in foster care.
mm,
I was in foster care from the age of 3 to 9. Then at 9, I would go back to my mom, and she would take me to meet my real father that I never met, didn't know. She left me with him, and then he went to prison. And then I had sisters and a new mom, basically, that I didn't know any of these people. So if you can imagine, I've kind of always been alone and having to do things myself. So the habit of execution really started back then. Like I'm helping my sisters and holding them accountable to get their homework done. I'm the man of the house all of a sudden, and I don't even know what that means. And I didn't even know that I had sisters or that this guy was my dad, right? And now he's in prison, and so I just think that from a very early age, I didn't have a choice.
mm,
There was no option. 50 Cent said something I saw the other day, a choice being a privilege or something like that. Or,
mm,
when you grow up in a certain situation, you don't have an option. You don't have choices. And then once I found my way, as a teenager, like just going and getting a job and trying to figure out how to be the man that nobody taught me to be, I decided to join the military. So I was on my first ship at the age of 17. I was going out to sea before I was even a legal adult.
mm,
My dad's ex-wife signed me over because she was my guardian and she had to. So at 17 years old, I'm on an aircraft carrier floating in the ocean trying to figure out how to put warheads on foreheads via F-18 fighter jets, right? So again, don't really have a choice but to get job done, job finished. Every single
mm,
thing you do in the military is time bound. There's a date, there's a deadline, there's a commitment, and if it's not completed, there's a consequence. Just like if nobody was there to help my stepmother or my sisters while my dad was in prison, who knows how that would have went, right? Or um, if I didn't decide to leave the Navy and open this company, where would these 300, 400 people be that work at these companies that I now lead, right? So I think that it's just been instilled in me since day one of nobody's coming to save me. And if I want a great life, I have to build it. I could have chosen any number of reasons to not pursue greatness every day, but I chose the latter. And I
I
think
love
that
it.
when you do that, you have to execute. There is no option.
Mm,
When I decided to walk away from the Navy after 14 years, I got 2 kids, man. There is no option. I walked away from what could have been a 20-year pension at 14 years based on principle. Give me my honorable discharge. I'm going home. And when you do that, that's all I knew since I was 17 years old. So I had no option to fail. And then I wasn't going to let my kids see me fail. When you come from what I come from, being a parent just means something else, you know. Um, and we'll
mm.
talk about some more of that from the stage, but
I love it. I
that's a
had to
little,
ask, man. I had to ask.
yeah, no,
That's powerful,
100%.
dude.
I just feel like I've always had to be the one to get it done, no matter what,
Yeah,
in any
powerful.
circumstance, whether it was in a foster home, in a homeless shelter, in a trap house, or at war. You know what I'm saying? Or in business now, right? So I just happen to have done all of that pretty young. A lot of people look at me like, you did all this, you're 36 years old. Well, I didn't really have a childhood,
Mm,
like to be honest, at age 11, I had 6 paper routes. Like At 13, 14 years old, I didn't just get my license. I had to pay the car note. I had to pay for the car insurance. I had to, you know what I mean? Like it's just always been my responsibility. So I don't understand any other way. Like I would ask other people, why is the job not finished? Why
Hmm.
are you not working harder? Why aren't you up at 4 a.m.? I don't understand that. So, but I think I'm just a product of my environment, man. I chose a better path than what I saw versus falling into it, and now I just want to help other people do the same thing.
It's
So,
badass, dude. I see it. It's ingrained. Good
yeah,
answer.
man. Thanks, bro. Well, I didn't want to give you some surface level bullshit, right?
No,
I mean,
no, come on, man.
that's not what we do. So,
No.
well, but one last question for you, Sean, and for the audience. Where can these people find out more about Shawn French? Where can they hear your show? Where can they go run it up for you, man? I mean, I think I saw the other day, what you guys came in at 16, 17, 15, something like that, higher than 20. I know that.
Yeah, I think I mean it fluctuates, right? But I
Of
think
course.
as of today we're 21, but I got up to like 18, 6 or
Yeah,
something like that. I think we'll be making a big push. Downloads are up. I'm not understanding why the bump in ranking isn't there, but whatever, man.
yeah,
It's doing what it needs to do, right?
that's right.
But everybody can find the show on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, The Determined Society with Shawn French. You can go to my personal Instagram at the Shawn French, SHAWN, thedeterminedsociety.com. And then we have a Determined Society Instagram as well. So all those things are great places to find me. And hey, you know what? I'm pretty responsive as long as you're not trying
Yeah,
to pitch me something.
no
But
doubt. Don't you got a Facebook group too, right? The
I
Determined
do the
Society?
Determined Society Facebook group. Like shamefully, I'm not very active in there and I need to be. But dude, I got so much going on. I'm gonna need someone to do that.
Hey, that's a great problem to
Yeah.
have, okay?
Yeah, for sure, bro. For sure.
Well, without further ado, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here today. If you're watching the show, please, please, please like, subscribe, click the link below to get your tickets to the Determine Your Destiny event on January 18th at the Iron Asylum in Norfolk, Virginia. And if you want to come hang out with some high level people that can probably give you some gems to help you get where you want to go, I'd go VIP and come to lunch with us.
Come
So,
on.
Sean, you got anything else, man?
Nah, I just can't wait to see you there, man. It's gonna be fun.
Awesome.
I can't wait. I'm actually flying in, I think, the 16th and leaving
Okay.
the 19th. So I bookend it so I have some time open, man.
Awesome.
For you and whatever. But yeah, dude, I just can't wait. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see everybody there. And for those of you watching, listening, book your trip. Book your trip.
Yeah,
It's gonna be worth it.
absolutely.
It's gonna be
Let's
worth
go,
it.
man. Sean, I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you, man. You have a good night. All right.
Hey, you too, my man.
Thanks,
Peace.
brother.